Epilogue. Following his arrest, Sasha Thompson spent 11 days in hospital recovering from his gunshot wound. The body armour almost certainly saved his life. He later faced criminal charges for armed robbery, possession of firearms, stealing a motor vehicle, incitement to riot, and criminal damage, and was sentenced to 14 years in prison. David Kemp, aka Wheels, was captured whilst trying to board a ferry to France with a suitcase containing $250,000. He was charged with conspiracy to commit armed robbery, vehicle theft, and using a false passport, and sentenced to 4 years in custody. He will serve the first part of his sentence in a young offenders institution. Savas Theocalcis suffered brain damage caused by a lack of oxygen as he lay trapped in the door of the truck. The Crown Prosecution Service tried to bring charges, but a judge ruled that he was unfit to stand trial. Savas now has severely reduced mental capacity and is looked after by his mother and younger sister. They have launched a bid for financial compensation, claiming that police officers kept Savas in an airport holding cell for 4 hours before he got proper medical attention. Calvin Holmes was questioned in connection with the robbery of the Hardfront. Despite fingerprint and DNA evidence, all the charges were dropped when the dealers he'd held hostage refused to give evidence. Fearing reprisals from the Slasher Boys, Calvin left the Luton area and is now believed to be living in South London. 9 other members of the defunct Mad Dog's crew received prison sentences of between 3 and 12 years for offences relating to the airport robbery. Alan Riggsy Riggs received a 9-year sentence. Police are still seeking 4 suspects, including the brothers Tim and Tony Kruger, along with more than $1 million belonging to the United States government. The Crown Court threw the book at Junior Moore. He was charged with armed robbery, possession of a firearm, possession of cocaine, resisting arrest, and violating parole. He got a 7-year sentence, the maximum that can be handed to someone under the age of 16. The sentencing judge asked that Junior be given a priority placement on a treatment scheme for youngsters with drug and alcohol problems. Unfortunately, funding for these schemes is limited, and priority is given to youngsters serving shorter sentences. Deshaun Andrews, aka Major D, was questioned in the aftermath of the warehouse riot, but released without charge. Over the following months, he masterminded an increasingly bloody gang war between the Slasher Boys and Runts. One casualty of the war was the Green Pepper Cafe, which was gutted in an arson attack. In mid-2007, several of Major D's closest associates were arrested in connection with the murder of Aaron Reed and 2 other teenage boys. Fearing prosecution, D fled the country and is believed to have returned to his native Jamaica. He is currently wanted for questioning in connection with 11 murders. Simeon Benteen is now believed to have masterminded the operation to steal the cocaine from the drums of cooking oil under the noses of the police, Mad Dogs, and Slasher Boys. He successfully sold on the cocaine and escaped Britain, but associates of Major D eventually caught up with him. His mutilated body was recovered by the Jamaican police. Norman Large and his adopted daughter Hayley now live 70 kilometres from Cherub campus. Norman has worked as a security guard and a shop assistant. His application to train as a prison officer was turned down due to his heart problems. After his savage beating at the hands of Sasha Thompson, ill health forced Chris Jones to resign both from his council seat and from his day job as a science teacher. He continues to have difficulty with his vision and is partly paralysed down his left side. Chief Inspector Mark Rush remains in charge of the Bedfordshire Anti-Gang Task Force. Despite the failure of the grand scheme to capture the Mad Dogs and Slasher Boys in one swoop, Rush regarded the demise of the Mad Dogs as an important step forward in the battle against gang violence. An investigation into how Sasha Thompson learned of the police raid on the warehouse uncovered links between the Mad Dogs and 2 administrative staff within the anti-gang task force. Both were dismissed after a disciplinary hearing, but there was not enough evidence to bring criminal charges. The Cherub Ethics Committee wrote a lengthy report on the anti-gang mission. Although they praised the 4 young agents for their commitment and bravery, Chloe Blake and Maureen Evans were criticised for underestimating the dangers involved. After leaving Cherub campus, Kyle Blumen spent 7 weeks living with Meryl Spencer. He set off on a round-the-world holiday with his old friend Rod Nilsson. When he returns, he will begin studying law at Cambridge University. Zara Asker has forgiven Kyle for the incident with Norman Large and agreed that he can visit his old friends during the holidays and earn some money helping out around campus. Dana Smith made the clinic appointment for James Adams. The examination was more embarrassing than painful, and the results were all clear. Lauren Adams is unhappy about being suspended from missions, but gets on with most of the young redshirts she has to look after each evening. However, there are a couple who she'd quite happily crack around the head. Gabrielle O'Brien's fitness continues to improve. She is now jogging regularly and has begun non-contact combat training in the dojo. Her relationship with Michael Hendry remains as close as ever. Chairwoman Zara Asker was impressed with the quick thinking Bruce Norris showed to preserve the evidence inside the van, and with the rest of his performance throughout the anti-gang mission. He was awarded the Black Cherub t-shirt.